Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about the health technology assessment at Health Quality Ontario, Toronto. I have no conflicts of interest to disclose. The objectives for today's talk will be, I will be walking through the health technology process at Health Quality Ontario, as well as the evidence synthesis development and process within our branch at Health Quality Ontario. Health Quality Ontario shares the vision of Excellent Care for All Act. It has different functions within the health system, of which making recommendations based on evidence to the Minister of Health concerning the Government of Ontario's provision of funding for healthcare services and medical devices is one of the prominent functions. So this is basically the health technology assessment. So what a health technology assessment at HQO does is it provides evidence-based recommendations of new interventions or health technologies to the Health Minister of Ontario, as well as it informs the provisional funding decisions about the new as well as the existing health interventions. So this is a screenshot of our website from Health Quality Ontario, where you can actually get more details on how the health technology assessment process is being done at our organization, as well as you can go through many of the HTAs that have been done before in the past. So what is a health technology? It can include anything between a screening test, diagnostic, as well as prognostic tests. Medical devices, it includes surgical procedures, as well as service delivery models. But we do not look at drugs and vaccines, which is out of scope for our organization. So here are some examples of the HTAs done in the past year, and those highlighted in red are the cardiac topics. So this is a high-level overview of the HTA process within our organization. Once a technology is identified, the topics are prioritized and we assess the health technology. And OTAC stands for Ontario Health Technology Assessment Committee, which is a subcommittee within Health Quality Ontario, which reviews and makes draft recommendations. So once a draft recommendation is made, we post it on our website for public feedback, and then it is finalized. I will go over each of the process steps in detail. So here is the HTA phases. Initially, the topic identification and prioritization is an open process, and applications may be submitted by anyone, including physicians, public, patients, anyone in Ontario. And what we do is the OTAC subcommittee prioritizes the topics to determine which topics will get reviewed. So during the scoping and the HTA development phase, we review the technology and come up with the cost effectiveness as well as the clinical effectiveness. And then OTAC deliberates on the HTA findings and come up with a draft recommendation, which is posted for public comment. And then the report is edited, as well as the recommendation, and the Ministry of Health of Long-Term Care is informed of the draft recommendation. Then the draft recommendation is open for feedback on the HQO website, which is followed by OTAC's final deliberation, where the findings of the comments as well as the reviews are deliberated on, and then the recommendation is finalized. After that, it is approved by the HQO board. And the final recommendation, as well as the full entire HTA report, is available on our website. So I did mention that we prioritize our topics. When we get many applications, many HTAs to be reviewed, these topics are taken to the OTAC, which is a subcommittee, and they are reviewed or prioritized depending on the following domains. It can include the proposed clinical benefit, the cost considerations, as well as the potential safety issues, if any, of the health technologies, as well as the diffusion pressures, the societal value considerations, which includes patients' values and preferences, as well as, if any, controversy within the technology. So the recommendation actually is a synthesis of the burden of illness, the different treatment options, the standard of care at present, along with the clinical benefits, the value for money, and the clinical harms. We also include clinical experts within in the process of a panel, as well as we involve the healthcare system to help us with drafting the recommendation and also conducting the HTA. Recently, we have also incorporated the equity as well as the patient preferences and values in the recent years within our HTA process. So when we do the literature review, it may or may not include a meta-analysis. We come up with the point estimate, and the quality of evidence is actually graded using GRADE, which stands for Grading of Recommendations, Assessment, Development, and Evaluation. And the quality is actually rated as high, moderate, low, or very low. This is followed by the economic evaluation or the value for money. Obviously, we will need a new treatment or a health intervention to be more effective and less costly. That's like what we want. But sometimes new treatments can be less effective and more costly, and maybe it's most likely to end up with a negative recommendation. Then there is this quadrant where the treatment can be more costly and more effective as well. So at that point, OTAC deliberates on a maximum acceptable ICER being incremental cost effectiveness ratio. So in this case scenario, it's really difficult to come up with a recommendation. And there's a lot of deliberation going on at this stage when the new treatment is both less effective as well as less costly. So we use the decision framework and the criteria that are based to make up the recommendation. So the first criteria is the overall clinical benefit, and then the consistency with societal and ethical values, which incorporates patient values and preferences as well, and the value for money, as well as the feasibility of adoption into the health system. This is from a recent paper which published a few factors with an acronym PROGRESS on the equity. So the place of residence, race, ethnicity, culture, language, occupation, gender, sex, religion, education, socioeconomic status, and social capital are all some of the important factors that need to be incorporated within the research or the HTA process, and we are doing it. So again, there was someone who said, where do you involve patient and public within our HTA process? This has been a recent mandate at Health Quality Ontario, and we try to involve the patient as well as the public in all phases of our HTA process, whether it be topic identification or prioritization, including assessing HTA as well as the OTAC review. So here is an example of Health Quality Ontario's recommendation last year, which recommends publicly funding stent retrievers and thromboaspiration devices for mechanical thrombectomy in patients with acute ischemic stroke. So this is how the recommendation looks on our website. If you go to our website, this is a screenshot of how the recommendation looks. Thank you.